Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, Jan Michael here. I know you guys are clicking on this video and probably thinking, what the hell, Jan? You just did an Oscars prediction video not that long ago. And yes, I did. But as you all know, by the time that video released, it was already dated. Like, there were already things happening to the point that I had to do little edits within the video to give you updates on the updates. And by the time the video really fully released, I was kind of disappointed with it because there were just so many things that I wanted to include at that point in time that I couldn't. So no, I had to do it again. I had to do this video because first, Life of Chuck got pushed back to next year, so no longer in consideration for this year's Oscars. We had Blitz have its premiere. We had September 5th slowly but surely continue to rise. A lot of people are talking about it to the point where it's that type of rumbling that makes me think, oh yeah, that could be that like surprise, which I said last video we need after the festivals. It can't just be festivals. Done. Nothing else. These are our players. I like those surprises, and this has the makings of, I think, a strong Best Picture contender. So we'll see. We'll see on that one. Joker released, failed miserably to the point that I think there's so much hate for it that I just don't think it's going to get into any categories, even the ones that you could still think of it as a contender in. So I'm actually just removing it altogether. Yeah, there's a lot. So you guys can see I have much to share. So let's get started. These are my Oscar predictions for October of 2024. As we start to get closer to the nominee announcements, I do want to mention this is the final month that I'll be doing my surprise pick for that 10th or 5th spots in the respective categories, because I am going to try to be a little bit more serious moving forward, beginning with November. Because I do ultimately want to try to get these right, though you guys know me. I'm still going to take some wild swings here and there because they've paid off in the past. So I like to have fun with these. Again, if you want a straight up normal Oscar predictions video, just click on anybody else's channel. They got you covered, but not here. That being said, The Brutalist is still at my number one. It's just so many people are hyping it up, saying that it's amazing, it's gonna get all these tech categories, has the potential to get 10 plus nominations. And yeah, that to me almost sounds like an Oppenheimer of last year, where it's just gonna be the biggest film where everybody's gonna be completely dazzled and wowed by it, and it's gonna go all the way to the top and win Best Picture. Again, haven't seen it, but you know, that's just the makings that I've been hearing of so far. So it's got me excited to go check it out. Now, Anora is still a strong contender. Some people even think that this could be the one to win Best Picture as well. So I think we do have somewhat of a fight at the time, and I like that sort of stuff. Last year with Oppenheimer, we knew it was going to be Oppenheimer, so that was kind of a done deal. We got to Best Picture. None of us were on the edge of our seats. And while I ultimately do agree with that win, I liked it a lot. I like competition, otherwise the festivals are boring, so I do like there's a little bit of a fight, but I feel as we get like the Golden Globes and SAG and all that sort of stuff, we're going to see the clear out contender kind of step forward, and all excitement's going to be lost. I hope not. I hope it's a fight. For now it is, so yeah, Anora. I'm hoping it still's got this great life where a lot of people are hyping it up and saying, no, this is going to be the Best Picture winner. Sing Sing, I don't think is going to be a Best Picture winner, but I do think it is going to get into Best Picture. It was number one on a lot of people's lists for the longest time. I even had it at number one for a while. So I do think it has a strong claim to it, if you will. Like, it would be deserving of the win, but again, I think there's just newer and better things. And some people are thinking, this could be like a Coda where it's going to have a resurgence. Maybe, and I wouldn't be upset if that were the case, but I just don't see that happening. Because at least with Coda, that year, while there were other contenders, there was nothing that was hyping people up like The Brutalist and Anora was. There were things that people were excited about, but not to the extent. So I don't see a Coda path for Sing Sing, unfortunately. Conclave continues to do very well. It's definitely going to be getting quite a bit of nominations from what I understand. Some people, again, are saying this could be the film that gets the most nominations. So with that being said, I do think it is a strong Best Picture contender. Emilia Perez, while not as much as the others, I do think there's a lot of passion behind it. Like, the people that really love that film really love it, and they're gonna champion it. So I do think this is gonna be your international pick for the year, and a lot of people are really gonna jive with it, including general audiences. And if not, the Selena Gomez fans are gonna pick it up. So not to worry there. Dune Part 2. Remember when we were all predicting Dune Part 2 to maybe win Best Picture? Well, I wasn't, but so many people were, and now it's definitely dipped down. I do still think it's going to get into Best Picture. It's going to get a ton of nominations. This is also going to be one that's going to get into a lot of tech categories. But yeah, it's not a Best Picture winning film, if you will. It would be a huge surprise if it did, especially with all these other great films that have released and people are really getting excited about. Nickel Boys. So this one did get its premiere. It's been a while now that we've had a little bit of a small consensus within that early group, and the critics are going to love it. It is a very ambitious film where everything is shot POV, and that itself is going to be, how they say, an tour de force that the critics are going to call. It's basically your pretentious film of the year where, yeah, oh my God, nobody's ever done anything like this. It's going to be amazing. And then general audiences are going to go see and go, what the fuck did I watch? That wasn't... So that is probably the path that it's got for it. Though some people are saying that films like last year's Zone of Interest, audiences didn't hate it as much as we initially thought they would. So are audiences just more open to these type of films now? I don't know. I don't think so. So I think that one just was a rare example of the horror was still there, and it was just so fascinating seeing that family that even if you didn't love that film, you were still kind of mesmerized by it. I don't know if that's going to be the case here, especially because of its unconventional storytelling method, but I'm still very excited for it. I really want to see it. The few people on YouTube that I followed have seen the film are hyping it up like hell and really loved it, so that's got me excited as well. September 5th. This one has slowly and surely been growing in like the buzz. There have been an early group of people that have seen that that have gone, oh my God, this could go on to win Best Picture. I don't typically hear that sort of stuff and go, oh yeah, definitely keep an eye out for it. I mean, Blitz, I don't have Blitz here still. I was never a huge believer in Blitz, and sure enough, film came out, and while it does have those people that are like, oh yeah, it's good, it could still get into stuff, I think I've heard enough that have said, yeah, I just don't think it's going to get into Best Picture. It probably won't get into a lot of categories type of deal. So that is not the feeling I'm having with September 5th. The rumblings of it are growing in a sort of way that makes me think, oh yeah, this could be a Best Picture contender. Don't know if it'll win. Again, we used to have such strong contenders up at the very top that does this one end up on the lower end of the spectrum? In the middle? Is it a strong contender? I don't know, right? So I'm going to place it here for now. I do think it has the potential to continue moving up, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing the trajectory of this film. I still have a complete unknown on here. I'm feeling less confident the closer we get to it, especially because the people have seen the early versions of it have said, it's fine, it's good, there's great performances in it, but the overall package is fine. But, I mean, Baz Luhrmann, Elvis, that movie was just fine as well, and it still got into Best Picture and a bunch of other categories, so can I really dismiss it because of those early buzz, if you will? Or is the new version that they're apparently working on going to be better and really take advantage of the feedback that they've been giving to create a superior product and boost it up? I don't know. All I know is I really like the trailer, so I still have it on here just because it's got me somewhat excited. Now, for my last surprise Best Picture pick, I have Challengers. Because I think Challengers being in the Best Picture would be a very nice rounding off of this. It's now to the point where we had Queer come out and it was disappointing. There are people that really liked it, but it's disappointing enough that I think people are going to shift back to Challenge. Just go, man, that one was just so good. They want to reward that one. So I do think Challengers does have somewhat of a path to Best Picture. It's not a done deal. There's other films to keep in mind first before Challengers, but I think if it did get in, I wouldn't be upset, and I think it would round off this list very nicely. And that's all I got to say as of right now for Best Picture. Director really hasn't changed much. All I did was I moved Denis Villeneuve down to number 3. I really thought there was a path for him to get Best Director just because he's overdue. He's been snubbed so many times before. He's been snubbed for the, not just for the nomination, but for the win as well. You can make the argument for. And I just thought that trajectory, there was a narrative there for him. He's definitely going to take it. People loved Dune Part 2 even more than the first. So I thought it was going to happen. But I really just haven't seen very many people confident in it. And unless I see a lot of the critics really start to go his way, which I don't think they're going to, it's making me question if he can win. Getting nominated, sure. Though I will admit, starting to sweat under the collar with how many great directors could get nominated. So moving him down for now, but I do still feel he's going to get in. If I have The Brutalist winning, I do think Brady Colbert can win for the directing. I don't know if we'll get a split in this instance. I think The Brutalist is one of those films that is, the director just comes with the package. If it's going to win Best Picture, I feel it's just definitely going to win Best Director. I don't think we're going to get a split where Sean Baker will win Director and then The Brutalist wins Best Picture. I think it's going to go hand in hand. And same with Anora. If Sean Baker wins Director, I'm going to then think for the rest of the night, oh, it's going to win Best Picture. I don't see a split happening. Even if The Brutalist is winning all the other awards, I think Director is going to be the telltale sign this year. It's just what I'm feeling, and I can't explain it. It's just what I'm feeling, so I gotta go with my feelings here. Ramel Ross, I do think, has a very good chance of getting into Director, especially with what he's done with the film. Again, just like with, oh my god, the director for The Zone of Interest, I'm forgetting everybody's name. You know, he created something new, and just people had to champion him and say, no, this guy definitely deserves to be nominated. He's done something amazing and unique. So I think the same thing's going to happen with Ramel. So I definitely got to include him here. And then for my surprise pick, how crazy would it be if Jesse Eisenberg got in for A Real Pain? Some people have been coming back around to A Real Pain, especially because it's about to have its official release very soon, and saying, hey, that movie is good enough to get into Best Picture. And if you're making that argument, couldn't it be then that Jesse Eisenberg just surprises in director? Again, this year is a little bit too stacked with its directors to really consider him, but I think that would be amazing for his second directing work to push him all the way to getting nominated. That'd be awesome. He's been nominated once before for a lead actor for The Social Network. So how awesome would it be to see his return here now for directing? I think that'd be a very nice nomination. But yeah, I don't think it's very likely. There's just too many directors to keep in mind to really consider him a serious contender, if you will. Best Actress really hasn't swapped from my update, if you will, from last month. The only thing I did include here is Saoirse Ronan for The Outrun. And the reason for it is because Blitz came out, and I've seen a couple of reviews where people have said, she's good in Blitz. She's good, but she's even better in The Outrun. So I see a trajectory where this kind of casts a spotlight on her, but to honor her for her better work, they're going to swap over to The Outrun. And it's kind of similar to the whole Challengers Queer thing, where Queer got that spotlight, and then it's like, oh, okay, that didn't really do it for us, so maybe they kind of go back to Challengers. So I see that kind of same trajectory. The only thing here is that The Outrun really wouldn't get any other nominations. I mean, it's happened before, and people have even won for just a single nomination. Well, okay, it's like that and makeup. But could it happen here? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she does get in for Blitz, or maybe it is a double nomination. So I think there is a path for either or both, and that's actually kind of exciting to think about. Saoirse Ronan's amazing. I think she definitely deserves an Oscar. She is, to me, the Meryl Streep of our generation. I know people have said that about many actresses. To me, I truly believe it is Saoirse Ronan. So I would not be angry if she got in for either or. I would love to see her get nominated again. So double nomination, that'd be pretty fucking badass too. For my surprise pick, Demi Moore for The Substance. I just saw this one, and yeah, she does a fucking fantastic job in it. So I have to include her as my surprise pick. It's not gonna happen. That movie definitely isn't gonna be the Oscars thing. But man, would it be cool if she got in. And even if she got in, there's no way she would win. She would definitely be the fifth spot, and that's about it. But again, this is just to kind of cast a light on these great performances, movies, what have you, crafts that I really just want to share with you guys. So Demi definitely would deserve a nomination, but yeah, most likely not going to happen. Actor really has not changed from last month at all. This is actually one of the categories I'm pretty confident in as of right now. Like, I think it's almost cemented itself. Adrian Brody, I'm calling it now. I think he's gonna win. There's just so many people who are convinced of it. Even the people who are trying to tell you, oh no, you've still got Ray Fiennes, Coleman Domingo, they give good performances, they could win. But if it wasn't for Adrian, like, they cannot deny that Adrian gives the best performance of the year. So I think Adrian's got this. I think it's a done deal. I think you're gonna see the critics give him a shit ton of awards, and I think he might even sweep the season. I've never predicted a sweep before, but I'm gonna predict it now. I think Adrian might sweep. We'll see, though. I like competition, as I said, so I really hope I'm wrong there. I want to see tension in the air, but that's what you got there. Now, for my surprise pick, haha, surprise douchebags, I got a double nominee here with Jesse Eisenberg for a real pain. Wouldn't it be amazing, to repeat myself here, if Jesse gets into actor? So many people have been calling out Kieran Culkin's performance and how amazing that is. But the reviews that I've been seeing have also said that Jesse does a really good job. It's just that Kieran definitely steals the show. But that doesn't mean that Jesse does a bad job. He still does a really good job, and you understand where he's coming from, and you can connect with him. So that'd be an awesome surprise nomination. I think I would actually rather see him nominated for director before I see him nominated for actor. But again, I can't deny the possibility that it would still just be cool to see him nominated. So yeah, that's kind of what I've got for that one. And yeah, let's move on. I moved Danielle Deadwyler down to number 3 for supporting actress just because I'm feeling a little bit more confident as time goes on that Zoe Saldana or Felicity Jones could potentially take the win here. Zoe Saldana, I think, has been champion for a while now, and a lot of people saying that she could very well win, while Felicity Jones is quickly but surely rising up the ranks here. And again, Brutalist could just be this powerhouse nominee that just kind of starts taking all the wins. And yeah, maybe Felicity just takes it because of the steamroll that movie is going to end up doing. So you just don't know. I'm kind of a toss-up. I don't want one movie to kind of just completely sweep. I mean, unless that movie ends up being a 10 out of 10 legendary film. But I like competition, so there you go. Right now, I'm hoping Zoe can kind of maintain her stance here. I did put back Anjanou Ellis-Taylor for Nickel Boys. I've heard that she gives a very good performance, and she's definitely going to tug at some heartstrings, especially towards the end, I believe. So maybe it's enough to really get her in. Unless, again, people just don't go for it. The Academy, it isn't the Academy's thing, and then that movie just kind of falls through. But I don't think that's going to happen. I do think it's got the potential to get Best Picture, director, performance, writing. So I do think there's a package for Nickel Boys, and I can't see the Academy ignoring the film. That'd be way too fucking weird. But that's all I got for the top 4. For my surprise, I'm actually going to be stealing somebody's kind of surprise pick here. I'm doing Michelle Yeoh for Wicked. Now, the reason here is that I was watching the video between Brian Rowe and the Oscar expert and Brother Bro, and they were just kind of discussing all the movies they've seen. Just, it's a nice chat. I like just hearing conversations between the two of them. Oscar talk is always fascinating to me. But Brian mentioned that Michelle Yeoh's character in Wicked is a very big character in the play. I've never seen the play. I don't know very much of it, apart from the general plot line, if you will. So that actually got me excited and thinking, yeah, that'd be awesome to see Michelle Yeoh nominated again. But not a lot of people have talked about this. Brian is the very first time I've heard anybody say anything about it. Why? I truly don't know, unless her character is more of a central focus in part 2. Like, if the way the movie is going to be split, whoever's seen the play, if you want to comment, if the way that the play is split and the way the movie gets split is that she's more of a central focus in the second half of the play, then that might mean that she's really going to be a strong contender for the next film. So that's the only reason I can think people are just outright dismissing this one. But again, I don't know for sure. So if you have seen the play, let me know, because I'm kind of curious. I don't want to spoil it for myself. I've gone this long without really knowing the story. So I'm just gonna be surprised while watching the film. We'll see if that's a mistake when I do go see it. I'm very confident in the top 3 for supporting actor. I do think Clarence Macklin has a very good shot at taking it for Sing Sing. It's just a raw, real emotion that he plays, and it's true. It is, I feel, a true performance. I know critics throw around those words a lot, and a lot of the time it's like trailer fodder, or it's whatever. It's meaningless, right? It's just something in their head vocabulary that they think sounds good on paper. But I think here the words actually match the performance just because of how it is those things. But like I said, the Brutalist could steamroll, it could just sweep, and if that's the case, I can see Guy Pearce taking it. Though out of every performance, I think most people have said Guy Pearce is the weakest of the performances that could get nominated. Again, not that he's bad or anything like that. Most definitely deserving of the nomination. Just, it's the one that most people are hesitant to put at the top. Even if they do have him at the top, they have to acknowledge, oh, these other people could still come in and take the win. So that's what I'm going in with, so we'll see what happens there. Kieran Culkin, I do think, is a done deal here. People were nervous at first, saying, it could be a stacked year, he might not get in, and I really don't think it's that stacked of a year for supporting actor anymore. I know there's some people that are still holding on to hope, if you will, that all of these other performances are going to get in, and I'm not going to dismiss anybody's picks, but I see a lot of predictions go, I don't see that happening, so yeah, I think with all that said, I think Kieran is definitely going to get in. I think the top 3 are dead set on getting in there. I included Jean Majaro for September 5th. The people who have seen the film who are championing the performances have definitely singled him out as the best possible chance of getting into a performance. So if September 5th is going to be a big player, I got to include it in an acting nomination as well. At least I feel I have to. So Jean Majaro, you're in. Looking forward to seeing how you do, especially with your snub of Past Lives last year. Yeah, justice for Jean Majaro. Now for my surprise pick here, how awesome would it be if Nosferatu ended up being a huge contender at the Oscars, and with it, Willem Dafoe gets into supporting actor? It's not gonna happen. I'm not even going to fool myself into believing it's gonna happen, but man, how cool would it be if it did? So yeah, that's my surprise pick for supporting actor. Original screenplay got a little bit of a shakeup last month because I just found out that Emilia Perez is actually based off something. I thought it was an original work. I've had it in original for the longest time, and I was like, oops, yep, that's gonna go supporting. So that kind of cleared up the way for original, which, I mean, I've already been saying original kind of seems a little bit weak this year, and which is a shame because I love original screenplay. I prefer that over adapted, but all right, well, what do we got to work with here? Anora. Here's the one that even if The Brutalist does go on to win Best Picture, Best Director, steamrolls all these awards, I think screenplay will still go to Anora because I think most people are very impressed with the screenplay of that film. Plus, they're going to want to reward Sean Baker somewhere, and I think this is a good place to do it if they're not going to give him any of the other wins, if you will. So I do think that's on track, but of course, The Brutalist is going to be right on its tail. Again, does it steamroll everything? Am I overhyping The Brutalist just because I'm excited to see it? Most definitely. But, I mean, I gotta be excited for something. I gotta have meaning to my life, right? A Real Pain, I do think is going to get in. I think that's just going to be happy to get in. I don't think it's going to go on to win, but yeah, I think it's most definitely a thing. September 5th, I got to include it, especially if it's going to be that strong Best Picture contender that people are telling me it's going to be. And then for my surprise pick here, just because I need to shout it out one more time, it's one of my favorite films of the year, I Saw the TV Glow. Have you guys seen it yet? If you haven't, goddamn, you guys are missing out. This has the makings of a cult classic. you see it and you're like, oh my God, yeah, that's 10 years from now. People are going to be going back to it going, have you guys seen, I saw the TV Glow, like the super like nerds that talk about things like Donnie Darko and shit like that. This is their right up their alley. This is like the next thing. So I really like it. I hope everybody gets a chance to check it out. Even if it's not your thing, it's a unique experience that I think will at least stick with you to a degree. Moving on to adapted screenplay. I didn't include Emilia Perez here. It would technically be my number 5 here, so I was breaking my rules here for this month. But I think there's too many stronger contenders that Emilia would technically be towards the bottom of the pack. Conclave. I think Conclave is just one of those wordy films that people are going to want to reward. You're going to think of the writing in that movie. So, yeah, I think it has a very good shot to it. Although some people have kind of criticized the last-minute twist they say the film has, and maybe that's enough to hurt it when people start to vote. So we'll see. And if that's the case, I think Sing Sing definitely has a strong claim to it as well. If Conclave doesn't take it, I can see Sing Sing going home with the win. Nickel Boys, I do think is going to get nominated. Will it go on to win? I don't think so. I truly don't know if Nickel Boys is going to go home with anything, but it should definitely get its nominations, and I think there's another good one to put it in. And then Dune Part 2, again, the second one did better than the first one, so first one got in. I don't see why Dune Part 2 wouldn't get in. I think that would be a huge surprise if it didn't, so that's what I got there. And then for my surprise pick here, Wicked. Yeah, why not? If Wicked is a strong contender, which I do think it has the makings of, it could be like a West Side Story where, you know, some people are hesitant on it, and then it comes out, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, that's amazing, and then it gets into Best Picture. I could see that happening here. Or who knows, it could fumble and it's just like not as good as people are hoping, and it just doesn't get any nominations except for maybe a couple of texts here and there. So, you know, I'm just guessing here. We're all just guessing here, so that's what I got for you. Okay, below the line categories. I'm gonna try not to make this an hour long, so let's move even faster here. The Brutalist at number 1. I think if you're gonna give it Best Picture, you gotta give it Best Film Editing. Nora's definitely in. Conclave is definitely in. Sing Sing, maybe I can see it kind of falling off, especially if it just doesn't end up being as great of a Best Picture player as we are hoping it is. Again, there's still so many people that haven't seen it. It skipped so many theaters. It's no longer even being distributed. It's just plain out stopped. So if you haven't seen it by now, you're gonna have to wait, and that's a damn shame. So for my surprise pick here, I'm going to include Kill. Not because I think it needs to be nominated, but because I want to give the shout out to Kill. I just saw it not too long ago, and it's fucking badass. If you like kung fu films, if you like brutal like fights and choreography, this is definitely one to check out. I don't think we get enough of these type of films anymore, so if I see one, I think it's awesome. I gotta give it a shout out. And with kung fu type of movies, you need snappy editing. So I think out of every category, this would be the most fitting of it. But it's not gonna get it. Don't even take that seriously. Just go watch the film. That's all I want you to do. Cinematography, Dune Part 2. I do think this one has a very strong claim to it. Although The Brutalist here also has very good cinematography, as does Conclave. So could we be seeing the fall of Dune Part 2? Like, earlier this year, we thought, oh, it's gonna win all of these awards. It has the potential to go home with all the below the line categories. And now it's more up in the air, where we could see The Brutalist maybe taking it. Other films could sneak in and take the win in certain categories. So yeah, exciting. As I said, competition, love it. The Girl with the Needle, nobody's predicting this. I don't know if it's on anybody's radar, but it's black and white. And as we learned last year, this branch will nominate a single movie, even if it's just international, right? Do not count it out. Black and white, you gotta consider it. So anyone who's just plain out dismissing it, I wouldn't do that. As for my surprise pick, Nickel Boys. I hear the cinematography is awesome, but again, just because of how it's shot, it might be a little bit tougher to swallow. I don't know if this branch is cool enough to really consider it, but I gotta include it because I would really love to see it nominated here. Costume design, I'm thinking Wicked. I think this is the one that it could very well go on to win, unless the film is a disaster and nobody likes it, in which case I can see it drop. I don't think it'll be completely dismissed like Joker, because that film was just fucking hated. I can't see Wicked being completely hated like that film is, even if people don't like it. So I think it at least gets in here. Doom Part 2, of course, you got to include that one. Maria, I do think has the potential to get this nomination. Again, if people just start forgetting about it, I already don't hear that much rumbling about it. Maybe people just forget. Maybe people just forget to vote for it, so it just misses out on it. So you just don't know. And yes, I included Gladiator 2. I don't think it's going to be a good film. I'm going to speak my mind. I don't think it's going to be a good film. I don't like Ridley Scott, but just like with Napoleon, that one got into a couple of texts. So yeah, I gotta include it here. Yeah, I don't want to. As for my surprise pick, I'm going to do Beetlejuice. Yeah, that'd be a pretty cool nomination. I don't think this one's out of the realm possibility. I do think it could get in, but I don't know how much that film is gonna be beloved. Though I guess it really is just gonna depend on the branch. So we'll see. We'll see. Makeup and hairstyling. I do have to put The Substance at #1. I agree. God damn, that makeup, the prosthetics. If that doesn't win, I'm gonna be flabbergasted. It's like, there's nothing that's gonna come that close. Maybe with the exception of A Different Man, because I heard the prosthetic on that one is really good, but no way is that gonna beat the prosthetics and the makeup. So yeah, that's what I feel. Doom Part 2, I think, is gonna get in. Wicked, I do think this is a type of film that could get into makeup, though not as confident in that one as I am with its other categories. And then for my surprise pick this time, I am gonna put Queer, because of the reviews that I've seen that have been surprised at Leslie Manville's character. How many of you have seen reviews where they're watching the movie, they get to the third act, and then they go, wait, who is that? Oh, that's Leslie Manville? That is literally the reaction I've seen so many times. So I think that just goes to show that's damn good makeup. So yes, I'm going to include that one there. Production design. Let's keep going on here. Dune Part 2. I'm not feeling as confident as I once did. I do think The Brutalist has a really good claim to it. I mean, it's about architecture, so you would think that just comes along with the package, but you don't know. I do think Wicked as well. I mean, it's gonna have amazing production design. That's just the type of film that is about production design almost. So yeah, I think production definitely has a couple of strong contenders this year. Gotta include Gladiator 2, just because if I'm gonna think about text, I gotta think about the potential that this film can get into. Yeah, again, I'm not looking forward to it, but maybe it'll surprise me. As for my surprise pick, I think it'd be cool to see Saturday Night on here, just transporting you back into that old time of like that sense of new, that sense of wonder of what could be. We know how it's gonna pan out, but it's just always so awesome and bittersweet to see how it was back when it first started. The nostalgia, which the Oscars love nostalgia, especially when it's a circle jerk production, when they're talking about movies, they're talking about TV, they're talking about the craft that they know and love. So I wouldn't completely dismiss this one, even though I think there's other things to keep in mind first. So I went to go see The Wild Robot, which I was very, very excited for. I mean, I was ready to cry, get emotional, be excited, everything everyone said I was going to feel, and I didn't. It is a good movie. It is a good movie, I give you that. But man, those people that are saying that this is a masterpiece, a 10 out of 10, a 5 out of 5, I'm sorry, I just don't see it. And this is coming from a parent. Granted, I know the movie is more of a mother-son relationship, but I'm a parent, damn it, I should feel some of this stuff as well. And while I do think it's very clever with its writing and how it presents the relationship, there's a lot that I actually don't like about it as well. So, I don't know, I want something better to come along, but I think this is just the consensus to win animated film, and I think it's going to carry it all the way to the win. So, there's that. That being said, I am still going to put The Lord of the Rings above it, just because I'm hoping this is like that dark horse surprise, but I know I'm clutching at straws here. It's almost like a done deal, but until that movie comes out, I'm still going to be predicting it at #1. The rest is pretty much still the same. Flo, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul. I mean, there's just so many great animated films. That snail film, Memoirs of a Snail, just came out. People are saying that one's great and that one's going to get in. God damn, there's going to be a battle for animated. I'm here for it. And doesn't matter, The Wild Robot. I don't hate the film. It's good. It's not a masterpiece. I'm sorry. Let's put it this way. I like Puss in Boots: The Last Wish more, and I would have seen that one win before I would do The Wild Robot. So that's just me. Anyways, for my surprise pick, I have Look Back. Now, I don't know too much about this one. It just came out as of the time of this recording, and people are really, really liking it. I like the animation that I've seen of it so far, and it's just, I like seeing anime-type films get into the Oscars. It doesn't happen very often unless you're Miyazaki. So, yeah, I would really like to see more anime get representation at the Oscars, but I don't know if it will. I don't think so. I think it's too small of a film, and again, this year's just so strong with animations that I think the smaller projects are definitely gonna get pushed aside. It's a shame, but that is how it is. Animated short film, the Oscars hosted their, or listed their winners of the short fest that they have every single year that do get Oscar qualifying runs. It is very important to note that just because you win here doesn't mean you go on to get nominated at the Oscars. In fact, looking at the history, there's some years that even though there's like 3, 4, 5, 6, like 9, 10 winners, none of them have gotten in sometimes only a single one in one of the categories. So I wouldn't take those too seriously, but it's a possibility. And with that being said, Origami, which did go on to win, I think it won second place in the shorts category, in the animated shorts category. That one looks beautiful. I think that's right up the Academy's alley, and I think that one could potentially get into this category. But on the flip side, for my surprise pick this year, Into the Red's Tale, which did win an award. I don't remember if this was an Academy thing or not. I just don't, like, just looking at the animation there, it's very crudely drawn. I'm not saying it's bad. I can't draw for shit, so any drawing is good to me. So I just think it's more crude to the point that the Oscars aren't going to go for it. So, case in point that just because you win awards doesn't automatically mean you're going to get into the shorts categories. So, that's what I got for you there. The rest is pretty much exactly the same. Go back and see my older videos for explanations of those ones. Moving on to the documentary feature films, nothing's changed here. I think I'm very confident in a lot of these. At the very least, the top 3 I'm very confident in. Union, I'm hoping gets in. It's been getting really good reviews, so I think Hollywood just went through a fucking strike and shit like that, so why wouldn't they shine a spotlight on another company that has its workers striking and unionizing and showing the importance of being in a union? So yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't at least consider this one. For my surprise pick this time, I have Butterfly in the Sky. Did you guys grow up with Reading Rainbow? I sure did, and they made a documentary about it, so how awesome. If you're a fan of it, I haven't seen the film itself, but it is something I'm keeping an eye on just because I like revisiting my childhood and things that I watched growing up, so why wouldn't I give it a shout out here? But we'll see. It's getting good reviews. I just don't think there's that much of it yet to really make an opinion. So I really don't know if the Oscars going to go for it. They typically don't go for those type of films. So that's why it's in the surprise area. A documentary short film. Again, no changes. I'm just feeling that confident in all of it. And that's including with the winners that the Academy has announced with its Short Fest awards. So yeah, I'm just going to be leaving these alone. And for my surprise pick this time, I'm going to put A Dream Called Kushi, Happiness, which did win. Actually, out of all the winners in the short documentary category, this is the one that definitely stuck out to me the most. And I do think has a very strong possibility of getting in. In fact, heck, I may just include this as my number 5, if you will. I'm still kind of on the fence on it. But this one is about a refugee camp where in Bangladesh, where they're trying to get education started, and just kind of the journey of one lone child kind of in that system, if you will. So I think that has the potential to get in. Yeah, I'm right on the cusp right now. It's right on the outside, so that's why it's my surprise pick for now. Definitely had to clean up international feature film because, yeah, what an embarrassment I was last month. All right, let's go over these. Emilia Perez for France, definitely going to be getting in. I do think the Seed of the Sacred Fig from Germany is definitely going to get in. I don't think it's going to go on to win. There was just too many people underwhelmed by it. I'm Still Here from Brazil. I am including. I've heard a lot of really good things about it. It was basically on the outside looking in by last month. I thought Parathenope. Again, I don't know how to pronounce that film. I thought that was really going to be a Italy submission, but it wasn't, so I got to pivot over here. A Kneecap from Ireland, I would really like to see. I do think it has the potential to get in, but we'll find out. I think it's a very cute movie. This one I have already watched, so definitely recommend it. As for my surprise pick this time, I have Twilight of the Warriors, Walled In from Hong Kong. As I mentioned earlier, I am very much into the Kung Fu films, and this one is another one where it's like oh my gosh, like a drama where there's like Kung Fu elements in it. And I am all for those type of movies. Again, I don't think we get enough Kung Fu films, especially ones that are being considered for the Oscars. So how cool would it be to see that get in? But yeah, this would be a very long shot. I'm not feeling confident in it whatsoever, but hey, gotta give it a shout out. Nothing much has changed for score. I do think that the top 4 have a very good shot of getting it. Well, all right, top 3. The 4th one is what I think could happen, but we'll see if Challengers does end up being an Oscar player or not. If it is, I can see the score getting in. If it's not, I don't know if it'll get a low nomination here. Yo no say. We'll see. We'll see. For my surprise pick this time around, I have Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul. Like I said last month, animation can get into score. Doesn't happen all the time, but I think out of every category, this is another one that typically can get into. It's more likely than other categories. And I always think of the theme song to Wallace and Gromit and how it's still stuck in my head. Bam, 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 bam. See, it's just something that sticks with you. So do they have an awesome score for this one as well? We'll have to find out. But yeah, I would like another earworm, if you will. Song, nothing much has changed other than I did change the pick for Emilia Perez's to El Mar. I was taking a look at what other people were saying, and more people were confident in El Mar, the El Malda, than they were the other one that I had last month. So yeah, swap that one over, but everything else is pretty much the same. For my surprise pick this time, I have Harper and Will Go West from Will and Harper. That is a cute song. Go hear it, please. Go hear it, because it is such a cute song. I would love to see that at the Oscars. I don't think it's gonna happen. The Oscars don't typically go for the silly song, though they do some far-off picks. I think of like Wajaje from Killers of the Flower Moon last year, or even that song from Everything Everywhere All at Once. Those are more interesting picks, I would say. So I don't think they're 100% above it. And the Will Ferrell movie, what was it? Husavich, or that one about him being a singer. The song from that one got in, so I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, but I think they're not always going to do it. So I wouldn't always 100% bank on the funny or the weird film or the weird song, getting in. But yeah, I hope I'm wrong. I would love to see this one get in. Sound. Again, not much has changed here. I'm just keeping the top 3. I've added Gladiator 2 to this one. Again, it's just one of those films that could get into this text category. You know. For my surprise pick, I'm going to do Nickel Boys. I heard they do something very interesting with the sound where, since it is POV, sometimes one of the boys will be kind of taken away and you'll hear the sound of like whipping or like hits being done, and because you're not seeing it, it's just from the perspective of this other person, you're not quite sure. You have to come to your own conclusions, just like that character is, and that's very fascinating to me. I think of like Zone of Interest, where sound played a huge role. I definitely thought it was going to get in. I thought it would have been a good winner, though I wasn't predicting it, and then it won. So yeah, I think when you have a really good sound to your film, or unique sound, I should say, there is a chance that it will be recognized and go on to win. So I'm very much hoping this does get in, though, just because of the uniqueness of it. I can't say people are going to go for it. It could fumble in that regard, just because people might not appreciate it as much. But that's what I got for that one. Moving on to the final 2 categories, live action short. I kept the top 2 and I kept saving Superman. The reason for it is because at the Shorts Fest that the Oscars have done, there is a live action film called Neither Donkey Nor Horse. And just looking at the screenshots of it, I was like, wow, that looks very nice. And I like the premise to it. So I'm going to include it. Again, that doesn't mean it's going to get in just because it did win over there or got a nomination, or excuse me, a prize over there. But I liked it enough, or I liked what I saw enough, that I'm going to be considering it. For my surprise pick this time, I have Die, Bully, Die. This one actually has won awards, or an award, I should say, but with a title like that, and I believe the premise is this guy meets up with his bully or bumps into his bully. I forget the overall premise, but at like at a diner, I think, and he's just like imagining all the ways that he could kill him. I don't think the Academy's gonna go for that. Sorry, but hey, it's got me intrigued. So there you go, surprise pick. Love shining a spotlight on these type of things. Visual effects, last one. Again, nothing has changed. I'm feeling very confident in these top 4. And yeah, that's just all I got. For my surprise pick this time, though, I have Paddington in Peru. Paddington's like a warm hug. Like, you're always excited to see a Paddington film. So yeah, I'm excited for Paddington in Peru. And while I don't think it's the type of movie that will get into visual effects, I do think it may get shortlisted or longlisted, whatever the case is in that category. But yeah, I don't think it's going to go on to get a nomination. But man, I'm looking forward to Paddington in Peru. So I'm going to end things on that note. So that's all I got for October. I'm going to try to edit this as quickly as I can, so that way none of these are, dated by the time the video goes live, but we'll see. And good Lord, I hope there's not another hour-long video. I'll include some funny quip here if it is, but I'm trying to move fast, but sometimes you just get passionate about a particular category, or you have things to share that I gotta include. This is why I started the channel. I love talking about Oscars and films and the possibilities, and yeah, I love that sort of stuff. So that's why I'm sharing it with you guys. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. We are in Oscar season. I feel October is always that kind of opening month where things really start to become clear and we start to get the bigger pictures for the general audiences. It's always nice to get those early previews, the people that have seen it first, but I think we really get a better picture when everybody's seen it. So I'm very excited, guys. Let me know what you guys think, and until the next video, stay safe out there and have a good one.